What's up, y'all? This is John, and I have Wes back with me today to record this episode of the Nothing Finer podcast. We are live on Millions once again. And tonight we're talking about all the big games from Rivalry Week. We reached out to multiple Georgia Tech writers and got nothing but crickets. So no guests this week. I guess they were afraid to talk football. Maybe, if you ask the standard Georgia Tech fan, they're too busy doing science and physics and not getting laid to pay attention to football. Um,
Nerd stuff.
so, it's just us. You got to deal with it. Um, I do want to remind you guys about our new merch that's out and available on millions.co. Um, if you want to get someone that you love, maybe even yourself, hopefully you love yourself too, some of that merch for Christmas, it is available. Um, but before we get into all that football stuff, how have you been and what are you drinking?
Man, I have been good. I had my first weekend out and about in Columbia. My first Saturday out and about in Columbia. Obviously wearing my Georgia jersey, of course.
Did you get in a fight?
Got a no, I got a couple fuck yous. What are you doing here? And my only response was 28 in a row, and then they'd shut up. Um, I had a 60. I don't want to say he was probably mid 50s, late 50s, come up to me and just whisper that Georgia sucks. And I was like, bro, like 28 games in a row, like, come on. He's like, yeah, they still suck. I was like, okay. But it was good. I'm going through a dilemma right now.
Oh, what's
You
that?
know, what I texted in the group, do you want to date a Carolina fan or a Clemson fan?
Mm,
So,
mm.
hmm,
So, you know what? I didn't respond. So here's my 2 cents.
let's hear it.
There's good sides to both. Um, in all reality, Clemson fan probably stuck up, being reasonable about it.
Well, she's
Um,
in the Clemson fan is in medical school. She's a doctor at US. She's under or medical school at USC. Her undergrad was at Clemson. The other one, the Carolina fan is a bartender.
okay, that tracks. Once again, Clemson fan probably stuck up. South Carolina fan ex- expects mediocrity. So you could be terrible in the relationship and it'd be fine, but she's going to be angry all the time. Definite anger issues, guaranteed.
Yeah,
Um, and she's a bartender because her football team makes her drink.
yeah.
Um, Clemson fan, there's a chance that she starts Clemsoning, and you're on a date having a good time, and then she's about 3/4 of the way done with her meal, and she just dips out and leaves. Um,
That's a good point. I forgot about yeah.
so up plus and minus to both. Also valid argument here.
Valid argument.
If the Clemson fan is a doctor, she will probably work Saturdays and you won't have to watch Clemson games.
Oh, but the good thing is we are tailgating the game this weekend because it's here in town.
Wait, you're tailgating with a Clemson fan wearing Georgia stuff at South Carolina's stadium.
Yeah,
Are you bringing some of your buddies with you?
yeah.
Okay, good. Good, good, good. Um,
Checks out.
because that might be like a paratrooper down situation. Like you just yell that and people come from all around to help.
We'll figure it out. But yeah. Up that subject, I'm just drinking lemonade tonight.
There you go.
What about you? How's your week and what are you drinking?
So Sunday I had a pretty big disc golf tournament.
Oh yeah, how'd that go?
I played like absolute dog shit. Literally the worst I've played in probably a year, if I'm
As
being
is
entirely
tradition.
honest. Yeah. Um, so one fun thing about getting Lyme disease, it loves to pop up when you really don't need it. So like I could barely close the hand that I used to throw on Sunday morning.
Damn.
Um, But played like shit. I don't know. I drank some free beer and then I went and got my elbow tattoo finished. It's all wrapped up in
Oh,
the
that's right.
dermaskin. So
I already. Hell yeah. Was good.
yeah, man, I'm pretty excited, especially since my deposit that I had down to hold my floating appointment was a lot bigger than I thought it was. So so I had very little to actually pay out of pocket for it. So
Nice.
yeah, that was
Yeah, I already got my next tattoo idea. I just got to go somewhere and get it. I'm just getting a red flag tattooed on my thigh since red is my favorite color and I attract nothing but red flags, and I am also a red flag. So I mean, hey,
you know when you come see me in Savannah, we could just go see my guy.
it's just a red flag. I could go to the dude on the corner over here.
Yeah, but don't wear any Georgia stuff. He might like spit on the needle.
Oh yeah, but
That's
no, my first weekend in Columbia wasn't too bad though. It was fun. I had a good time, and my mom was in town, so me and her went out and partied.
and well, she needed to have a good time after what her team did on Saturday.
Boy, she changed. So the bar where you're at, they sold shirts. She went and bought a shirt and changed out of her Auburn jersey during in the third quarter.
Yeah.
It was
Man,
bad.
there was a lot of people saying Auburn had a chance this weekend until that game.
I was one of them. Because this game you never know, especially with the fucking Jordan Hare voodoo they got going on up in there.
Fun conspiracy here. Hugh Freeze intentionally lost that game. They were already bowl eligible. First off, it decreases the fan base's expectations so they don't pay $20 million to fire him after next season. And two, so the entire Alabama team's not expecting anything, and then he comes out and beats them.
Ooh,
Just
ooh,
just saying. Hugh Freeze
just
has
saying.
beaten Nick Saban 2 out of the last 3 times he's faced him. Just saying.
Ooh,
Just saying.
hmm.
They're gonna get their teeth stomped in. It's gonna be awful.
Yeah, but I'm sure we're gonna get. I haven't had a chance to look at the timeline, but I'm sure we're gonna get into that later.
I wasn't actually planning on talking about it because of how ugly I think it's gonna be. I,
Fair enough.
sneak peek. It is in my best bets. But probably not for any of the reasons you're thinking about. So let's go ahead and get into the first game we're talking about. This is on Friday night. So if you're listening to this Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, as you're sitting in the car while your wife's Black Friday shopping at 6 a.m. for how terrible Black Friday is now,
It
considering
really
it's
is.
like 10% off as the sale. Um, but look forward to this game. Oregon State going to Oregon, who are 13.5 point home favorites, over under 62.5.
Jesus.
And
Wait,
we're gonna
hold on. You said this game's Friday.
yeah,
Are we just skipping the Egg Bowl?
man, Mississippi State's gonna lose so bad.
You never know with this game.
Yes, we do. Mississippi State doesn't have a head coach. Mississippi
Ole Miss.
State doesn't have an offense.
Ole Miss is only favored by 10.
Yeah, they're gonna win by 20.
Touche. But it's the Egg Bowl. You gotta love the Egg Bowl.
I'm still gonna watch it.
Oh
There's
yeah.
probably still gonna be a fight or two. I'm gonna be excited for it. Ole Miss is still gonna win big.
I'll agree with you on that one.
So
All right,
for this,
sorry to interrupt.
no, you're good. So for the Civil War, we're gonna
Can't
call
say
this the.
that.
I try to cancel me. We don't have enough of a following to get canceled. Um, so we're gonna call this the Washington barely beat us bowl.
I
A
like it.
combined 5 points is what Washington beat these two teams by.
Mm.
Um, once again on Friday. So Oregon comes into this game with Bo Nix as a top. I lost my train of thought because I had a notification pop up. Um, and my hold on. Hold on. My laptop is not charging. Do, 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 do. There we go.
This is great
Um,
radio.
so Oregon comes into this with Bo Nix as a top Heisman favorite, setting multiple offensive records last week, and still pissed off they lost to Washington, trying to get ready for this Pac-12 title game next Friday. Oregon State comes off of a close loss to the Huskies last week in the freezing rain. I finally, I talked about it probably a month ago, but I'm finally actually doing it. So Oregon State is 6-5-0 against the spread this season, while the
Oh,
Ducks come into this game 8-2-1 against the spread. Um,
oh,
to me, this Oregon team just seems like they're playing like their hair's on fire. They get better every single week. And I think they're getting ready for that game next week in Vegas. And I don't even think I could try to convince anyone that Oregon State will win or even cover in this. I think it's Oregon big.
so I'm with you on that. I love that this game is played on a Friday,
Yes.
like because you get it's by itself on a national stage. And going back to what you're saying about Oregon playing with their hair on fire, they have to
Yeah.
because if they lose a game, they're done. Like if they lose one more game, they're done, and they have Washington next week.
Well, Oregon still isn't even hasn't even clinched the other spot. If
I thought they
Oregon
did.
if Oregon State wins this game, they get in.
Oh shit! Oh yeah, so they have to.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think Dan Lanning's gonna have them boys ready to run through a wall. DJ Ualungalale.
Uwe
I think
Ungalale.
I think I said it right.
Nope, not even close.
Nah, I got the right. Um, I mean, he's good. My mom is so pissed off on how good Bo Nix is doing. She's like, "There's no way." I was like, "I swear to God, I swear, he is a Heisman finalist." She's like, "No way." I was like, "Yeah, he will be. He will be in New York." And what did I say at the beginning of the season in our group chat?
Yeah. No, I agree.
Uh,
I mean, Bo Nix should have been at the Heisman ceremony last year, if you ask me.
yeah, but no, I think Oregon wins. I think Oregon. Wait, is it in Fort Dallas or is it in Eugene?
Eugene.
Did we say that?
Yeah.
It's in Eugene. Yeah, Oregon, big in the Civil War.
Also, I didn't say what I was drinking. I wasn't planning on drinking any sort of alcohol, but I didn't have any caffeine-free Diet Coke in the fridge. Um,
Dude.
so I've got a Blue Moon Light Sky. It's their light beer.
Ooh,
It's actually really good.
that sounds good.
This is only the second one I've had. Instead of Valencia oranges, they make it with tangerines.
Ooh, but yeah, I can't. I'm still trying to recover from Saturday, so I'm not because the bartender I was talking about when she got off work, me and her were just going shot for shot with Fireball and green tea shots. So
Never do that with a bartender.
yeah, well, we were supposed to go to another bar, but she got too drunk and went home, and now she has my lucky hat because she was wearing my hat. So
Get
there's
it.
that.
You. I don't care what you have to do. Get it back now.
I was gonna text her and be like, "Yeah, I need my hat before Saturday."
Yeah. I don't care if you have to break into her apartment.
Yeah, she has my lucky hat, but I don't think it'll matter against Tech. But we'll get into that.
No, it doesn't matter. Go get that damn hat. All right, so we're going to go ahead and move on to Ohio State at Michigan. Michigan are 3.5 point home favorites, over under 46. So
I love the under in that one.
yeah, so these two teams are coming into this game all brakes and no gas, competing for which team has the privilege to beat Iowa 10-3 next week, and then get
So,
bounced in the first round of the playoff in an embarrassment again.
question with this game:
Hmm.
does the winner take the one spot?
No,
You don't think so? You
no.
think Georgia has? If Georgia wins, which they should, knock on wood, do you think Georgia has solidified until the one spot until further notice?
Well, so here's the way I look at it. If Michigan wins, they beat a Penn State that doesn't have an offense, and they beat Ohio State, who doesn't have an offense. If Ohio State wins, do they have three ranked wins? Yeah, like they've beat Michigan, who doesn't have an offense. They beat Penn State, who doesn't have an offense, and they beat 10 Notre Dame players.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Georgia has played back to back to back ranked teams that are still ranked and have never fallen out of the top 25 this season.
So, what is
And
your thought?
embarrassed Ole Miss, who is a top 10 team, and then Tennessee at Tennessee.
So, with the rankings just coming out, we already talked about Oregon State. I meant to bring this up earlier. What are your thoughts about Oregon State dropping 5 spots? I
I
think
think it's
no, they
valid.
dropped most of them. They dropped, but Tennessee only dropped like one or two.
Yeah. Tennessee dropped 3 spots because losing to the number one team in the country shouldn't really affect your ranking all that much because they're the best team in the country.
Yeah, the undisputed. Wait, what's the
Reigning, defending,
undisputed?
undisputed back to back national champions. Yes. It, 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 Tennessee
Speaking
lost.
of my, speaking of my hoodie was supposed to come in today.
You'll have to go check that.
It did
It didn't?
it. No,
Oh, damn. Um,
or I'd be wearing it.
yeah. So for this game, and so by all breaks and no gas, I mean these teams are the top two teams in scoring defense in the entire country. Michigan allows 9 points per game, and Ohio State allows 9.27 points per game. Um, how much of that is because they have neither of these teams have played an offense with a pulse this season?
No.
I don't really think we'll know until the first round of the playoffs when one of them loses by 24 points.
Do you think Day's job is on the line?
I
That is the rumor going around. Some might say.
I think if he loses this year, next year is his make it or break it.
So
I think if he
next year.
loses this year, if he loses to Michigan next year, he will have his shit in a box in the locker room by the end of the fourth quarter.
Yeah, you can't be 1-4 against Michigan
No,
as
no,
Ohio State head coach.
no. And especially two of those at home, no.
Yeah.
Um, so Wolverines 5-5-1 against the spread this season. Ohio State 7-3-1. In Michigan's three toughest games, and that's air quotes around toughest because it was Maryland, Penn State, and Nebraska. They're averaging what would be 58th in scoring offense at 28.6 points per game. In
Damn.
Ohio State's toughest three games, Notre Dame, Penn State, and Wisconsin. Once again, toughest is around air quotes. They're averaging what would be 112th in scoring offense
Dear
at,
God.
at 20.3 points per game. In games against common opponents, Ohio State's won by an average of 24.28 points. Michigan has won by an average of 29.14 points per game. So I've got a couple questions for you here.
Let's do it. I got some answers.
Is there any way in hell that this game hits the over?
No. The only way it hits the over, I don't see it being a shootout, is if there's a blowout on one end. That's the
Yeah.
only way. But no,
But are
there's no
either
way.
of these offenses capable of blowing out a good team?
I think out of these two teams, Michigan would be the one to be able to do it. Because Marvin Harrison is.
Perfect. Because my next question is you are the single person in our rankings that continue to put Michigan second behind Georgia and first.
Yes,
Why are they the second best team in the country?
because of yes, their resume isn't what everyone wants to see, right? But my thing is they are beating the teams they're supposed to beat and beating them bad.
Except for the
Uh,
last 2 weeks.
okay, but look at Washington. Washington has been on a struggle bus these past couple weeks,
Yeah, I don't disagree with you.
and I think Michigan, offensive wise, I think these two teams on a neutral site, I think Michigan will pull it out. I really do. I think Michigan is a better coach team. Granted, Harbaugh likes to see his mom in a one-piece bathing suit. Um, apparently, he was referencing Ted Lasso when he said that.
Okay, I've never seen it. I refuse to
Yeah,
pay for an Apple streaming service.
but yeah, for those of y'all that don't know, Jim Harbaugh was talking about how his locker room is in one piece after the whole scandal going on, and it's like he likes to see his mom's bathing suits in one piece, and that is a quote from in a press conference he had. But I think McCarthy's good. I don't put him up there with Penix. Penix is a Heisman finalist. I think McCarthy also might be one of the four. I don't think they give it to Beck just because of the Georgia fatigue and the Michigan storyline. They're going to want to be like, oh, look, ESPN is all up Michigan's right now. And they want to do everything they can to be like, Michigan's the best team. They're winning without their coach. Look, they have a Heisman finalist without their coach. But no, I think Michigan is a better team than Washington. Yes. Washington can't play no damn defense.
And Michigan hasn't played offense in over a month.
That's fine. You just ask for one touchdown, you're good.
You just got to stop one touchdown and you're good.
But yeah, no, I think the national championship will be Georgia and Michigan.
I don't understand with their history how you can think that they're going to win a playoff game.
Because who are the teams that I mean the final four is going to be Georgia, Michigan, Texas, and Florida State. No, I'm gonna put the Pac-12 champion over Texas. So yeah, Georgia, Michigan, Pac-12 champion, Florida State.
So the reason that I have personally, the reason I have Washington ahead of Michigan is because if you stack team for team and compare the conferences, top to bottom, the Pac-12 is better than the Big Ten this season.
Yes, I agree.
And Washington has beaten 4 teams that were ranked at the time that they played. They beat a top 5 Oregon, or top 6. They beat a top 6 Oregon. They beat, at the time, a top 15 USC. They beat an Arizona team that's now ranked in the top 15. They beat Oregon State when they were in the top 12. And they've looked better doing it.
Okay.
And I mean, that's just kind of where I'm at. I just, as far as, man, watching Michigan play, they don't look good. Nothing about the team looks good. Especially their uniforms. And y'all can come after me about that. The Michigan uniforms are hideous.
They're yeah. The colors is the blue and yellow, man. I don't or maize and blue or whatever. The corn color. Maize.
You know, I know there's not like a ton of agriculture that's able to grow in the Great White North. Um, but do people in Michigan know that corn comes in like 12 different colors?
Ask Mike.
That's a great question. That's a great question.
And
Um,
I found this out the other day. Michigan doesn't have a mascot.
I mean, they're the Wolverines. They don't have a live mascot.
No, like they don't have like a how like we have Harry and Uga. They don't have anything. They don't have like a dude inside of a costume. They don't have a Wolverine roaming the side. Like they don't have anything.
just like their offense, nothing. Um, all right, so how do you think this game's going to go? We're talking about Ohio State at Michigan minus 3.5.
I think Michigan covers. I think Michigan wins this game. I mean, I put them as number two in my rankings, like my final rankings. Um, I think Michigan wins, and honestly, I don't think it's close. I really don't.
So, so I think Michigan can win this game. I think they should win this game. But over the last two games, they've run the ball 75.5% of the time. And if they
Yeah.
choose to continue to do that, they will lose. They are going to lose that battle against Ohio State because the Ohio State is only allowing 108.5 yards per game on the ground. Earlier this
Yeah.
season, when Michigan was beating teams 49 to nothing, 52 to 7, you know, I I would have picked them to smash Ohio State. I didn't think it was going to be close. But over the last month, their offense has been atrocious, especially over the last 2 weeks. Like I said, they're running the ball 75.5% of the time, and the person that's in charge of the team is the offensive coordinator. Like that's just disappointing.
Well, didn't Michigan just fired their linebacker coach too?
What does that have to do with their offense?
Oh no, I'm just like that. That just hit me that Michigan just fired their linebacker coach as well. Um,
Yeah,
sorry.
I just don't necessarily trust this offense without Jim Harbaugh on the sideline smacking the offensive coordinator in the head and saying, "Hey, the forward pass is legal now."
I I think without even Harbaugh, I think McCarthy and Corum take the game over, and that the Joe Moore Award winning offensive line from Michigan.
Okay, we're going to talk about the Joe Moore Award soon because I have been doing a stat deep dive on the finalists they put out last week.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have a go off queen moment here soon about the Joe Moore Award because
I look at
half of the teams that are semifinalists shouldn't even be in the top 50, but we'll get to that. But with everything I just said about Michigan, I think they win, and I think they cover because they're down late and down or tied late and have to score at the end of the fourth quarter.
oh
I don't I don't think it once again, if you put these teams and what they've done all season head to head, Michigan should beat the shit out of Ohio State.
yeah
I just Ohio State's offense is not good. It's Marvin Harrison Jr. and Kyle Midcoid. Like I
yeah
don't, he's not good.
no
But I just the last 2 weeks have shown me that Michigan is not a good football team without Jim Harbaugh.
yeah. I mean they what 5-0 without him.
Yeah, they're 5-0 without him because they played three nobodies and then a Penn State without an offense and had to barely squeak by a Maryland team that started 5-0 and has gone 1-5 since.
Yep. I like Michigan. I like Michigan big.
All right, so going on to my bandwagon team, they are playing Washington State in the Apple Cup. They're at home this week, 16.5 point home favorites, over under 66.5. So Washington is 5-5-1 against the spread this season with a lot of close wins as of late. Their last two possession win was against USC, and they won that by 10, and that was a month ago. And they have not done all that well defensively against teams with average or above quarterback play. Cam Ward is an average to above average quarterback for Washington State. I respect the hell out of their offense. They've got a good defense. But I think Washington wins this game. I don't think that they cover, but I think they win this game to complete their first undefeated regular season since 1991.
Yep, I don't have much to argue about with that one. There's not much to say.
All right, so we're going to move on to Georgia, who are 24-point road favorites
God,
going to the North Avenue Trade School over under 60. Um,
Georgia. Never mind.
no, say it.
I lost it. We can cover that by herself.
Uh, yeah, no, we'll get to that here in a second because I got some stats to back up that claim. Um, so I talked about it a little while ago. We tried to get multiple different Georgia Tech writers on, and got absolutely no response. So their media is just as big of a joke as the joke by Coke. You know, we're just gonna, almost every time I reference Georgia Tech, it's gonna be a dig at this point because they deserve it. So the joke by Coke, Nats, Wrecked Tech, whatever you want to call them, they're not good.
No.
Um, they're better than they have
Well,
been.
it depends on what Georgia Tech shows up.
Yeah, no, and they're very hot and cold. I mean, what they lost to like an FCS team earlier this year. They're not. They're very hot and cold. I mean, they've beaten good teams and then they've gotten beaten by really bad teams. They're real weird.
Yeah.
Um, so they still are better.
Bless you.
Sorry about that, guys. I'm just dying over here. If I go
Yeah.
silent, you know what happened. Oh,
That means I got to carry the show.
so Georgia Tech is going to the first bowl game since 2018. Do you know what happened in that 2018 bowl game?
They got destroyed.
They lost 34-10 to Minnesota.
Yeah, they got destroyed.
Yep. So the
Wait, was
biggest.
it? Hold on. Was it 20? No, that was 2019. Never mind. I was like, wasn't that the George Pickens fight? But that was 19.
Yep. No. So funny enough, in 2019 and 2021, they finished 3-9 on the season.
Damn.
Yeah, not good. So their biggest improvement outside of coaching, because obviously Brent Key has taken that program somewhere they haven't been um, since their recruiting class of this past year was a freshman in high school. You know, it's been a long time since they've been relevant. Um, so it's been their offense between Haynes King and a host of transfers. You'll probably recognize some of the names that are making plays for them this season. Dominic Blaylock and Brett Seither from Georgia, Christian Leary from Alabama, and then, like I said, Haynes King from Texas A&M. As far as their offense goes, they're 37th in the country in scoring offense with 31.9 points per game. So a drastic improvement over where they were last year. Um, Defensive side of the ball, not good. Um, they're 101st nationally in scoring defense.
I mean, we just got to need in the fourth quarter and we'll be fine.
Would you like to know how many points they're giving up to be 101st?
35.
30.45 is their
Oh,
average.
you said 38.45?
30.
30. I was close.
Yeah, yeah, not good. They're also giving the ball away quite a bit this season. They're actually, I just had it pulled up here. They are 100 and something in the country again in that stat. 111th in turning the ball over this season. They've lost 20 turnovers. Um, they
Jesus.
are in the same. They're actually tied at 111th with two other ACC schools.
Oh,
Um, would you like to take a guess at what the other schools are? Three other ACC schools. My bad.
Syracuse.
Nope.
Oh, Syracuse just fired their coach.
Syracuse is tied for 105th.
Oh, damn. I'm trying to think who's in the ACC. Virginia.
Nope. Two
Damn,
teams that are actually okay this year, and then one that's terrible.
Virginia Tech.
Nope.
Fuck. All right. Yeah, I don't know.
Clemson, Miami, and Pitt
You
are
want to
the
know
other
something
teams.
funny?
What's that?
Clemson and Miami were like in my head. But I'm like, there's no way.
Yeah,
That
yeah. I mean, Clemson had 7 turnovers in their first game of the season. They started out real bad.
is true.
Um, so go ahead and give your take on this game.
My main take, and the first thing I'm gonna say is, I don't know who the fuck pissed off Javon Bullard.
Bro, his Instagram, he goes savage every week.
That's what
But
I'm saying.
I mean, half the team is doing it right now. I don't. Did Nolan Smith go in the locker room when he was at game day and be like, "These people said you were going 1-11 this year"?
So I don't know who pissed him, but I expect him to get at least one turnover. I don't. This game is going to be close at kickoff, and that's it. Um, we'll probably allow a first play
First
or a
possession.
first drive. Yeah, first possession touchdown because I mean, for whatever reason, that's what they do. Um, yeah, I don't see this game being close. We haven't lost in Atlanta since what 2001, I think.
I believe it was 2000 or 2001. Yeah.
Yeah, like Mark Rick owns that stadium. They just need to name the stadium after Mark Rick. Um, yeah, I don't see this game being close. Fuck the nerds. Rec Tech. We need George Pickens back on the sideline to throw the dude headfirst into the wall.
Hey, and the
Ugh,
NFL might suspend him, but he could probably use a week off with the Steelers because they're not very good either.
bro. Matt Canada got fired. Everyone's getting fired.
God, that's my dream to be a fired coach.
SEC coach. Fired SEC coach.
Oh man, you gonna pay me $5 million and not wake up at 5 a.m. tomorrow? Heard.
Shit, just pay me 2 mil. I'll be fine.
Yeah.
But I don't think this game close. Georgia covers, and I think they walk into the SC. Well, I don't think they walk into the SC championship undefeated and on the highest of highs. I mean, they are clicking on all cylinders. This offense hasn't been healthy all season,
Still
and
technically isn't.
that's what I'm saying. We haven't been. The only game they were healthy was like a half against Ole Miss.
Yeah,
Like Georgia's clicking at the right time, and this team is fucking dangerous right now.
I agree. So I think Georgia Tech is getting closer to making this an actual rivalry game again. I said getting closer.
I mean, did you see
They're
my
bowl
post?
eligible before week 13 this year.
I mean, good for them. But I mean, did you see my post I made in the SDS group?
No.
Yeah, I made a post like, can you even call it a rivalry if the other team doesn't win? And I wasn't even talking about Georgia Tech. I was talking about Tennessee. But it also goes with Georgia Tech. Like, I don't see this as a rivalry. I really don't. I hate Georgia Tech. But I don't see this game as a rivalry.
Honestly, to me, it's such not a rivalry. I cheer for Georgia Tech throughout the season. Like I would love for
Yeah,
Georgia Tech to come into this game 9-2.
dude. Could you imagine this as I know it'll never happen, but two undefeateds? Like, imagine.
It would be electric. We could start hating them again.
Oh, I wish.
But they're not there yet. I
No.
personally think the Dogs roll through Bobby Dodd Stadium pretty easily, end up resting the starters in the third quarter. And I actually think they intentionally put up the numbers on the scoreboard to rest the starters early to come right back to Atlanta next week.
Yep.
Like
God,
this is gonna be a business meeting. It's gonna be beat your head in the ground on defense, put the ball in the end zone on offense, and go sit down.
do you think this game could send Beck to Atlanta or not Atlanta to New York?
I think based on so to me, the Heisman race really is the top three: Penix, Nix, and Daniels, and then there's a pretty big gap. Um,
Yeah.
I think what's gonna do really well for Carson Beck's argument to go to New York, and they don't always call four guys in New York, so there may only be three this year.
Yeah.
But for a fourth guy to get to New York, if they do it, I think what sets him apart is he is top 10 in completion percentage,
Yep.
top 10 in yards per game, top 10 in yards. He is top 10 in all of the categories where some guys are like, oh, one here and 20 here and three here, but 30 here. He has done exceptionally well at every part of the game.
Yeah. He has.
And that's kind of why I think it's possible that he makes it. But on the flip side of it,
I think
um,
he deserves it. I don't think he'll go though.
that once again, that's if they put a fourth guy in this year because they've historically, when it hasn't been, when there's been very obvious tiers, they've only taken two or three.
Yeah.
But they do occasionally invite somebody as a career achievement award.
Hence last year.
Uh, do what?
Hence last year was Stetson.
Stetson put up the numbers last year to deserve it. I'm just being, you know, he put up the numbers to deserve top four. Um, but if they're going to do career achievement and just invite one guy, Brock's getting that career achievement invite.
He needs to.
Like honestly, I don't even think they should have even put out the Mackey Award finalist list. They should have just been like, uh, week one, it's Brock Bowers. Like it really doesn't matter.
Like, how are you? How do you hurt? How do you get hurt? Miss 2 games.
We're both dying. Damn. Who's going to post the show if we both die?
Um, miss 2 games and still be a finalist for the Mackey, like or
Have
semifinalist.
surgery and get limp off the field in back-to-back games.
Yeah.
Um, so let me do some math real quick and tell you what our weekly give our weekly update on how many yards he's going to need to reach 1,000.
This is my favorite part of the show.
Um,
Do, 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 do.
all right, so if Georgia plays 15 games, Brock
Okay.
needs 85 yards per game to break 1,000.
That's it.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
if Georgia plays 15 games, Brock needs 85 yards a game in the next four games to get to 1,000.
And who could stop him?
Honestly, the only thing that's stopping him right now is he gets a little sore and comes off the field for a few plays.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the only way to stop him is himself.
And if his history in Atlanta is any track record, he could have 85 yards on two plays.
Yeah. Bama in Atlanta scares me so much though.
Why?
They're 7-0 in Mercedes Benz. Apparently they've never lost in Mercedes Benz.
Who?
Bama.
Well, I was talking about this week.
I know, but you're saying if his history and when I hear it, see, I don't even think about that school. When I hear Atlanta, I automatically go to the SC championship game.
Oh, you know, we're gonna get well into that. Probably starting on Sunday and then going into next week. We are working on getting the Bama guest we had earlier in the season back for that episode, so that'll be a good time. Um, but I think we're going to go ahead and get to calling the dogs. So
Ooh, that's
here
it.
is this week's Calling the Dogs. If you would like to call in, and we would love for you too, that's 678-465-8020. And it's rivalry week. Get ridiculous, please. I like. I want to hear. I want to feel the need to bleep out some of your call because you're so drunk and obnoxious.
I'd be careful with that
Hey,
one.
I have. Look, I go through all these calls before the show, and if I feel it necessary, I've got a bleep button that I can put over it.
Just nothing but.
That would tell you it was a damn good call. All right, guys. So for this week's Calling the Dogs, here it is.
Bobo's everything you want. Bobo's everything you need. Bobo's everything inside that booth that you wish you could be. He calls all the right plays at exactly the right time, but morons want him fired, and I don't know why. All right,
Oh
well,
my
hopefully
God.
you have just finished listening to my musical number that I recorded for you guys on Saturday. And I just want to point out, I recorded that when the score was 17-7. That is how quickly obvious it was that Georgia was just going to run away with this football game. That the offense was just going to click the way it did. But now it is time to turn our attention to those nerds on North Avenue. You see, Brent Key, I remember the press conference that you had when you first got to Georgia Tech, talking about you were too scared to name drop us, the opponent in this state, that you were going to work 365 years to dominate. Let me tell you how that work to dominate us started. You went to bed that night, and before you went to bed, you got on your knees and you started to say your prayers, and you said this: "Oh dear God, you see, my name's Brent, and I just got Haynes King to transfer here to play quarterback. But there's one problem. Everyone still thinks that I absolutely suck." Because you do, Brent. Because you do. And let me tell you something. Congratulations on being the last of 4 teams in the state of Georgia to be bowl eligible. Good job. Proud of you. Guess what? You have not faced a team like the Georgia Bulldogs in that stretch of time. Oh, but we played against SEC Ole Miss. You have not faced a team like the Georgia Bulldogs in that stretch of time. Now, ordinarily, one thing I say all the time is that the transitive property does not work in college football. But when the scores are, this wide of a gap going both ways, it's got to at least be addressed. What happened in that game against Ole Miss, Georgia Tech? What did Georgia do to Ole Miss and Georgia Tech? Those were both the kinds of games where talent gaps become very, very obvious. So if you're telling me there's a big talent gap between Georgia Tech and Ole Miss, and there's a big talent gap between Georgia and Ole Miss the other direction, oh no. That's a big problem for you, isn't it? Now, that's not to say you have no chance of winning, but that is to say you haven't won in Atlanta since the Backstreet Boys were putting out hits. At the very least, to be honest with you, I don't know if you had one even when the Backstreet Boys were around. I'm too lazy to look at the stats. But the fact that I can say that and know that at least that far is accurate, that's a bad sign for you, isn't it? So have fun on Saturday. Don't go out to Adamsville. You might not make it back because Atlanta's a terrible, terrible city.
Caleb, thank
That was
you.
amazing.
Thank you, Caleb.
And hold on. And Caleb, um, Georgia Tech actually has a 7.5% chance to win, according to ESPN Analytics.
ESPN Analytics also calls Georgia the 5th best team in the country. They put the anal in analytics.
Hey, yo.
And that right there is why ESPN will not, no one will probably ever come on the show.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, I do not have a problem laying in the bed I made. even though I might be disappointed sometimes.
Weren't you like in talks with like a rules person for a while?
Uh
Yeah.
huh. Yeah, no, ESPN said that they were going to have somebody come on the show, one of their rules analysts, to talk about the changes in the rules this past off season. And then, this summer, I kind of spent a good bit of time trashing them and then never got a response. So,
Weird.
yeah, like I said, I don't have a problem laying in the bed I made.
At least you know.
Yeah, try to be very, very self aware. So, best bets this week. For mine, I've got Mizzou
Oh man,
minus 7.5 at Arkansas. I
I
understand
like it.
that transitive property of football. Arkansas beat Florida. Florida took Mizzou down to the wire. Look, Florida doesn't know who they are play to play. Definitely don't know who they are week to week. Mizzou is a significantly better team than Arkansas. Mizzou rushes the passer really well, and Arkansas's biggest deficit is in the offensive line. Um, I think Mizzou wins. This is another Friday game. Highly
Hmm.
recommend watching it because it's normally very entertaining. This next one hurts, if I'm being entirely honest. This was one of the teams that I thought was going to be a lot better this year. Kentucky going to Louisville. I've got Louisville to cover that 7. Um, man,
Yeah.
their defense is really good. And the only thing that worked for Miami last week against Louisville was the quarterback throwing to Restrepo. And
Not the movie.
no, that is a phenomenal tearjerker of a movie, but not that. Um, no, man, Louisville's got a good defense. I just don't think
They do.
Kentucky's passing game with Devin Leary is there when it comes to trying to do something on this Louisville team.
No.
I got Arizona State minus 10.5 at, or Arizona minus 10.5 at Arizona State. Arizona State's just a bad team, and
Scrappy dudes.
those Arizona scrappy dudes. I mean, I'm about to pull up the Pac-12 standings again because they are they are third. They have solo third, so they would
So
technically
you're
be
telling me?
tied if Oregon loses to Oregon State and Arizona beats Arizona State. Arizona would go to Las Vegas next week.
Holy crap.
Yeah, that's a team that was 3-3 after giving USC a hell of a fight, potentially making it to Las Vegas for the Pac-12 championship. Arizona plays before Oregon does, or no, they play after because Oregon
Oh,
plays Friday night, not Saturday. Um, so I think if Oregon loses, which I don't think they will, but if they do, Arizona's putting 50 plus on Arizona State.
yeah.
And I think that would be a hell of a Pac-12 championship because it was a good game in Arizona a few months back.
And
Um,
I think it's going to be the opposite of what happened in. Oh, wait, never mind. I was talking about Oregon and Washington. Never
nope,
mind.
yep, different games.
Yeah.
Last bet I have: Bama at Auburn. I've got it over 49
Oh,
because I think if Auburn doesn't score, Bama could still cover the over.
man. That's tough. That Jordan Hare voodoo, man.
But that's what I'm saying. Are you saying that this can't be a 31-28 game? Like I think there's just as
Okay.
I think
Yeah.
it's just as realistic to say 42-14 as it is 31-28.
Yeah. Well, you're saying Bama could cover by itself.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I based on what Auburn has shown
What time is
when
that? Oh, that
it matters,
3:30 game.
I don't. I just don't have any faith in Auburn, man. Like they've given
Yeah.
me no reason to.
You don't believe in Auburn? You love it?
No, The Auburn family, that family tree don't branch. So
it don't branch. All right.
go over Mike's best bets right now. So we got Iowa plus 2.5 at Nebraska. That's a Friday game.
Oh, that's what I was gonna do.
Oh, all right. Well, go through yours, and then I'll say if he has any that are the same.
So Iowa, just because that's probably gonna be like a 7-10 game.
What's the over under?
Hold on, let me find that game again. Where is it? That's a Friday night game.
Yep.
I don't.
I'll look it up while you're going through the rest of yours.
I don't see the over under. I just see the 2.5.
I'll find it. Go through the rest of your stuff.
Oh yeah, I guess I can go on my DraftKings, huh? Or bet US. Oh. um, I like Missouri. Like you had earlier, -7.5. I think the one that you're not going to agree with is Michigan -3.
I already said I'm taking them to cover. I just don't think it's the best bet.
Yeah, I think Michigan covers and they cover big. And that's what like. And then my final one, I like Florida State at -6.5 over Florida, even without Travis Hunter or not Travis Hunter, Jordan Travis.
2 backup quarterbacks going at it this weekend.
Yeah, Rodemaker and I don't even know who Florida's backup is. Don't really care.
Whoever he is, he actually played pretty well against Mizzou last week. So
that is true. They had to rely on the thicker kicker.
They did. So the Iowa over under is 26.5.
Oh, the.
I was about to say, I think we all might be adding the under to our best bets this week.
Oh, for sure. God, I like how, like, because they got McCormick or McNamara.
No, he's out for the season.
Oh shit! So how much I haven't paid attention to Iowa.
Good for you. I haven't really either, but for some reason, Mike thinks they're like a top 10 team.
That is true.
I really think he's just gaslighting himself into when they beat Michigan. He's like, man, they were a good team this year.
I told y'all. Fuck Texas Tech. I told y'all.
So actually, Mike's next bet is Texas Tech plus 12.5 in Austin at Texas. So you guys know what happens. He picks Texas Tech. They get blown out. So.
And then he comes on the next week. Fuck Texas Tech. I hate them.
Yeah, it's a vicious cycle. So he's actually going against both of us and thinks Oregon State's going to cover the spread.
Yeah.
3 of his are Friday games.
Do we need to save Mike from his toxic relationship with Texas Tech?
No. We'll let it. So, he's only in the 3rd month.
And that's normally when things start to go downhill. So we'll see.
Yeah, he has 1 more month, and then he never has to talk about Texas Tech again.
Until he picks them again next year.
God, if he does, we'll have to have an intervention. But yeah, he thinks all of his have been Friday games so far. He thinks Oregon State's going to cover against Oregon. And then his last one, once again, I think he's kind of gaslighting himself on Michigan here. But he says Maryland is going to win by more than 1 at Rutgers. Maryland took Michigan to the wire last week. So I'm really surprised they weren't a top 10 team in his ranking.
He's just a gaslighter, man.
We're just messing with you. I promise.
Here, I got a lighter for you. We'll just keep it going.
All right. I think it's going to do it for us tonight on this episode of the Nothing Finder podcast. As we say every week, follow our socials at nothing.finder.pod on Instagram, at finderpod on Twitter. Search us on Facebook and YouTube. Find us there. Go to millions.co. Check out that merch. It would not only help us, but it's a really cool t-shirt and hoodie.
They are. And I can't wait to get mine.
Someday. Whenever the mailman decides you deserve it.
Stetson. Then I can wear it to the tailgate on Saturday.
That's ideal. That's actually ideal.
Ooh, I'm actually. Right now, we'll talk off.
All right. And then last but not least, rate and review show 5 stars. Send us a screenshot, and we will send you a sticker. Um, as always, remember there is nothing finer in the land
Than a drunk, obnoxious Georgia fan.